Hi everyone, thank you for watching our kitten adoption presentation by the Heart of Rhode Island Eke Apple. We have a few rules. We ask that you watch this short presentation until the end. It includes all the material we would have normally educated you on in person, but it's been designed for your convenience, and that's so you can rewatch it if you'd like. Please take down notes, jot down any questions during the presentation to discuss with our adoption counselor at the time of adoption. We will be asking questions with the expectation that this has been viewed. Also, let us know what you've learned and what you found helpful, and let us know if there was something we've missed. This presentation has been put together from over 18 years experience in adopting out thousands of cats and kittens, but we do understand that every animal and adopter is unique and there is no one-size-fits-all. We're going to be reviewing basic kitten needs and what to expect when you're expecting, specifics to our organization, introductions to the family, medical issues, and how to make your relationship with your kitten as positive as possible. So congratulations, you are approved. We spend a great deal of time reviewing applications, making sure each animal is a fit to their home. Before you bring your kitten home, we suggest that you set up a small bedroom or bathroom away from other pets, making sure the door closes completely, just to let your kitten get used to the environment for at least a week. It definitely takes time for your kitten to get used to the new house, and it's just safer if they have a little space of their own and you can slowly introduce them. On the day of adoption, you're going to need to bring a carrier with you. You can put a small blanket, a few toys in there just to make it more comfortable. And we definitely ask that you do not, under any circumstances, open up the carrier until you are home. They are going to probably cry, they're going to want to come out, but we've seen it where kittens, some people have let the kittens out, they think they're holding on to them, and then the kitten ends up under the dashboard. And it's taken an hour or two to get them out. So we just ask, please, until you get home and your safe little room for them, you keep the carrier shut after you leave the shelter. So what to expect the first few weeks. It's super exciting. This is fun for you. It's fun for the kitten. They're extremely intelligent. They learn really quickly. They get to know your schedule very quickly. Many people think that they need to be shown the litter box. As long as you have them in a small room or bathroom, they don't need to be shown the litter box. They will find it themselves. But just make sure that the room is a smaller size just to not set them up for failure and give them too much space too quickly. They may have loose stools. They may have had a recent deworming, or just general upset from all the change may bring this on. Just keep an eye on that. If it lasts for more than a day or two, you can give your veterinarian a call, but a lot of times it's just from all the changes. Please do not leave your kitten alone for long periods of time, 4 to 6 hours max. They're super social creatures. They don't enjoy solitude. They've just been living with a litter probably, and they're going to be pretty lonely. So just make sure you get some good time in with them when they're in the room that week. And have fun. This is a really fun time to get to know your kitten and all their little quirks. So what to feed them? We're going to send you home with a little of what they've been eating, but everybody has a different opinion with food. People get very passionate about it, but the higher quality of the food, the less fillers, and it's going to equal less poop and less stinky poop. We just recommend a high quality kitten food till at least 6 months of age. You can do middle of the road pricing. It doesn't have to be the most expensive food in the pet store. And always check like the first 5 ingredients just to make sure you recognize what those ingredients are. It's not fillers. It's not corn. There's just a lot of the meat byproducts. Make sure it's actual chicken. But you can also talk to your veterinarian, or you can talk to the staff at a pet store and see what they suggest. A lot of kittens don't do really well on fish-based foods to begin with. They don't digest it very well. It's just something someone had brought to my attention one time, and I have noticed with a lot of my fosters. So maybe stick to poultry-based just for a little while. They don't need actual tuna or anything. They don't need real fish. But just a high-quality food. Your choice whether you want to feed them wet food or not. I only stick to dry just because otherwise I just think it's a little stinky. They don't really need it. They do well without it, but they enjoy it, so totally your choice. Make sure your kitten always has access to water. People ask a lot, do they need to withhold water at night? No, your kitten needs water at all times, fresh water. They do not need milk. We've had a couple people give them milk and cream. A lot of cats are lactose intolerant, so you're most likely going to increase diarrhea and have some accidents that way. So always make sure they have access to water. Litter boxes. Everyone always thinks they got the best litter. If you have other cats, use what you've got. There's litter called feline pine, which is compressed pine pellets that works really well. It's super cheap if you go off label and just get a few bags of the wood burning pellets at your local feed store, and you can just like dump that every day if you just use like a very small layer of it. I like Fresh Step above all others. I've tried many different litters, but I have 3 cats. I've had countless litters of kittens, and I just think that it holds up pretty well. You're going to want to clean your litter box at least 1 to 2 times a day, and they should be washed out at least once a month. And some people do it weekly, but just a really good scrub with Dawn, it's helpful to get any of the residue off. The type of litter box you use is totally up to you. There are so many different kinds. There's covered. I prefer a high-sided one, and you can even have a couple different kinds just to see what they prefer. There's also one called a Buddha Dome, so it's shaped with stairs, and it kind of minimizes the tracking as they're leaving the box. And there's even self-cleaning litter boxes that are a little costly, but I've had friends that swear by them. You can also use a little baking soda mixed into the litter. That can be really helpful with the smell. And the rule of thumb is at least 1 litter box per cat to prevent any issues with inappropriate urination. Also, liners are definitely not recommended. Kittens have been known to scratch up the plastic and eat it. So be careful when you see all those fun little accessories near the litter boxes. I would definitely stay away from any type of liner. Playtime. Please don't use your fingers. What it does is it basically teaches your cat that fingers are toys. And it's really cute when they're little, but as they get bigger, I've had a lot of people have some pretty good accidents and get scratched up pretty bad, but they've kind of trained their kitten to do it. So I would just try to, if you see anyone doing it, just ask them, give them a toy, say, please use this instead. Kittens have serious instincts as predators pretty early on, so I usually give them appropriate toys for this behavior. Ones with feathers, ones with noise that imitate prey are their favorite. I recently saw one that's like a little like fish, and the cats were going wild over it. Also save your boxes, cut little holes, flip them over, and they have a blast in them. And then you can just kind of toss them in recycling when you're done. Check out Pinterest. They have lots of good ideas for cat toys, just using stuff around your home. But always make sure that you're checking those toys to make sure nothing is unraveling, anything that they can adjust, because the vet bills on something like this can become extremely high and can even cause death in these little guys. So introducing to other animals. A lot of times, many animals coexist happily. They do really well together, but you've got to go super slow. When you get home, you're not going to throw your kitten down in front of your cat and say, look what I just brought you, because they're not going to be happy. It's just the slower the better. That's again why you want to leave your kitten in that room for at least a week, because your cat is going to get used to your new kitten by smell through the door. You can give them treats on either side of the door. I would even switch their beds out. That's super helpful. So then when they finally do meet, your cat is going to smell the house on the kitten, and it's not going to be very stressful for either of them. And when you do start to introduce, at least a week later, use treats, toys, anything positive to reinforce the meetings when they're near each other, and just go slow. Love takes time, but a lot of times it does work. It's the people that kind of force them to get along right away, thinking they're going to be best friends, that have issues. So it's going to be long term. Just give it some time. Vaccines. So when kittens are little, they get passive immunity from their mom for the first few weeks of life, but that starts to go away over time. So that is why we vaccinate. There are multiple vaccines. The first is the rabies vaccine, which is extremely important. It's mandated in every state. Kittens get their first one around 12 to 16 weeks of age, and then a year later. And in the state of Rhode Island, after that, it's once every 3 years. But if you lapse even a month, it will restart into that 1-year vaccine. It is different for every state, so if you're adopting from Massachusetts or Connecticut, just check with your veterinarian on the state laws on the rabies vaccine. There's also the FVRCP vaccine, and that's pretty much, it's a rhinotracheitis, which is a cold for cats. Calicivirus, it's another virus that causes respiratory symptoms and mouth ulcers, and panleukopenia, which is distemper. So depending on their age, they're going to receive the first one around 6 to 8 weeks, and then every 4 weeks until they're about 4 months old. Definitely a good reason to start establishing a relationship with a veterinarian, just so they can keep you on track with your vaccines. Deworming. I think this is one of the most important things you can do for your kitten is just make sure that they're getting dewormed. Pretty much all kittens have some type of parasite. They get it from their moms when they're born, just from drinking the milk. But they can die from not being treated for parasites. So we do, as soon as we get that kitten, we start deworming them. It starts really early, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on whether they have their mom or not. And it continues every 10 to 14 days for at least 4 treatments and possibly even up to 6 months. We want to make sure those little creatures are out of their body. Roundworms are the most common that we treat for, and they're kind of gross. They're like spaghetti-like. Hookworms are another common parasite. Tapeworms can occur. They're not as common. They're typically in older kittens because the tapeworm needs time to develop, so you don't necessarily really see them. But they look like rice in their poop. And if you do see that, you're going to want to call your veterinarian because it's a very easy treatment, but they can suck the life out of them. So you want to get that treated right away. They do get tapeworms from fleas, not their mom. Coccidia is another kind of scary parasite in kittens. It can't be seen by the naked eye, but if you notice that your kitten has persistent diarrhea, you're going to want to call your veterinarian. And we may not have seen diarrhea at the shelter, but just the move alone from going from the shelter to your house can actually bring out the coccidia. So again, just keep an eye on it. If you notice your kitten's having diarrhea after a couple days, definitely give your veterinarian a call, and hopefully you signed up for the pet insurance. Medical treatment, so flea treatment. So a lot of people ask, but my cat lives indoors. Both indoor and outdoor cats should get monthly flea treatment. Your other animals, if your dogs go outside, they can bring in fleas and they can make a home on your kitty. There are many different types of flea treatments. Please, please, please use flea treatments that are prescription only. Do not go to one of the big box stores and get their flea treatment. It can really do some damage. There's something called a heartburn. If you Google it, you can see pictures of it. I've seen it many times and it's awful. It just looks like a terrible burn on the back of their neck, but that's from Hearts products or any type of cheaper product. Revolution is a favorite because it actually treats fleas, roundworms, hookworms, and ear mites. It's a really good treatment, but it's prescription from your veterinarian. So definitely, again, getting established with the veterinarian to get on a schedule. So you're going to want to definitely give a call to a veterinarian as soon as you get your kitten home. If you have an existing one, that's great. Otherwise, you can ask around and find one that you're comfortable with. We know that good quality vet care can be costly, but if you're keeping up with your yearly appointments, if you notice something, getting that taken care of right away, you're going to save a lot of money in the long run. And again, consider using pet insurance. It's going to be a huge lifesaver. Outdoor cats. We do not let anyone adopt that is going to be putting their cat outdoors. Outdoor cats have a shortened life expectancy due to risk from injury and accidental death. Predators, hawks, coyotes, cars, just getting trapped and stuck and not being able to get out somewhere. They're more likely to have parasites and also bring in those parasites to you. So it really is imperative that you keep your cat indoors. Ticks and fleas like to hitch rides on cats. It can lead to tick-borne illnesses and needing to treat your home. And one of the worst parts about having an outdoor cat is the constant fear that they went missing, they may not come home. It's a lot of worry, and I've just seen it go bad so many times. I worked at an animal shelter where I used to have to check the cats that came in that were hit by a car or they were found on the road and try to match them up to their families. And I probably saw at least 3 or 4 a week, and it was really tough. It was very sad, but I'd say 99% of them were indoor-outdoor cats. So it was sad, but it was like they were kind of out there and they were like little sitting ducks, they're not there. You're not there to protect them. Cats, yes, they have claws. They are predators, but they're domestic animals. And when you let them outside, so much can go wrong. So we do need you to keep your cats indoors. Declawing. This is the other thing that we do not allow. None of our cats are allowed to be declawed. It's basically the equivalent of cutting off a person's fingers at the first knuckle. It is cruel. Many states and a lot of cities now are banning it, and it can cause a lot of long-term behavioral issues such as inappropriate urination and aggression. Cats scratch. They all scratch. It is part of their normal behavior. When you provide scratching posts and things for them to scratch and kind of teach them this is what they need to use, you're going to, minimize them trying to get on your couch or scratch your furniture. Regular nail trimming also really helps cut down damage to furniture. And if this is a must, if you cannot have a cat and you can't maintain the scratching, you can't deal with it, then a kitten or cat is definitely not right for you. You can go online and look to see if there are any cats that are declawed, but just so you know, a lot of them have been given up for inappropriate urination and aggression. So just keep that in mind if that is something you are thinking about. Kittens and Kids. I love seeing Kittens and Kids. It can be a match made in heaven, but it definitely rules need to be established. Please do not allow young children to handle kittens without supervision. It uses this opportunity to teach kittens how to treat animals. Show children how to use cat teasers and toys to entertain cats. Please do not let them use their fingers. There's super fun ideas on Pinterest on ways your children can make toys and enrichment projects for your kitten. And just make every interaction positive, and your kitten's going to grow to love the child and other children. But don't assume that your children's going to have these skills. They are taught to be kind to animals. It's a great way to build their confidence, and just make sure that your children and you wash your hands after handling your kitten. Super important. Cat collars. Even though your cat is required to be indoors, a lot of people do use a collar in case of escape. I would definitely recommend the breakaway collars just to prevent any choking accidents, and you would want to start them young to get used to it. Microchips. This is one of the best ways to reunite you with your kitten. Or one of the best ways to reunite you with your kitty. It is a one-time procedure, and a lot of times most kittens don't even notice. You're never going to realize that a chip is in there, and your cat can't feel it. What you're going to want to do, though, is always make sure that the information is up to date on the Microchip brand site. A lot of people will end up moving, they change their number, and they don't end up updating that information. And unfortunately, it leads a dead end when your kitty does end up getting lost and needs to be returned home. So just keep that in mind. But your veterinarian can insert the chip. It's typically around $50, $60, but it's a lifesaver. It really is. Pet insurance. We just say just do it. It saves so much money if your special new friend gets into an accident. We've seen it work time and again where people just, something happens, something random. These little guys love to get into trouble. And then pet insurance kind of comes through, and instead of, a $600 bill, they're paying $50. We always recommend try it for at least the first year. You are more likely to have an incident when you're getting to know the kitten. Some kittens like to ingest stuff. Some kittens just love to dive bomb off of tall shelving. But at least you're protected. So your adoption counselor is going to give you some information at the time of adoption for pet insurance. And we definitely recommend signing up that day, because a lot of people will wait, and they'll wait a week, and then something will happen, and then they wish they signed up. Just the first day, just sign up, and it's a great idea. Catnip. A lot of kittens aren't fazed by this herb. Some kittens are. You can try again when they get older. The only thing is, just remember that a lot of cats become over-aroused, and they're more likely to scratch and bite just because they're having a good time when they're on the catnip. You can grow it fresh, you can get it dried, you can even grow wheatgrass for your kittens to play in. Super fun for them. They like to kind of chew on it, and it's fine. But just so you know, if they don't love it at first, try it again like 6 months later. They may enjoy it then. Pheromone sprays and plugs. This is really great for shy kittens and when you're introducing to other pets. Basically, it mimics the facial pheromone in cats. And they also have calming collars, which have pheromones in natural scents like lavender and chamomile. I have a cat that I use the calming collar on just for a couple months out of the year, right when the windows get open and he starts seeing the birds, he wants to go out. So I don't let my cats out, but I'll put the calming collar on them, and he calms right down. So for 3 months, we put that on, and he smells great, and he has no desire to go out during that time. Cat harnesses are not recommended. A lot of people have a guilt over not letting their cat out, but if you use a cat harness, a lot of times what happens is they're going to demand they go out, even during the winter. You try picking up a cat when a dog is running at it and they're trying to get away. You're going to get scratched. Your cat could get hurt. They get tangled in the harness. It's just really, it's not totally worth it. A lot of people recommend it. We don't. It's your choice, but I definitely don't think it's a good idea, and it's just kind of more room for accidents with it. Scratching posts, definitely a must-have. Get as many as you can. I just get the cheap cardboard ones from Chewy or Job Lot, and then I kind of put them around the house. But they get torn up. I put a little catnip on them, but they're great. Put them up on a wall just because they're taller, so they kind of can climb up and scratch. It's a little more helpful that way. But I have one in every room, and when they get destroyed, I just throw them out and get a new one, and they love it. And it's a deterrent from your furniture. So scratching posts, definitely grab a couple. Hairballs. You're lucky I saved you on this picture. Couple suggestions. There are hairball treats. There's also kind of like a hairball goo, which my cats don't like, and then it gets in their fur and it's gross. What I definitely recommend though is you can buy food that is hairball formula. There's definitely different brands, and whatever you're feeding them, mix that in. You won't see really hairballs in kittens, but when they start about 6 to 8 months of age, you may start seeing it. The benefit of having a cat is they are so clean. They groom themselves probably 20 hours a day. The downside is hairballs. So if you can kind of get ahead of that with having the hairball formula mixed into their food already, you're just going to save yourself a lot of just grossness. Automatic ordering. I think Chewy, Petco, they all have automatic ordering now. It's an amazing service. As soon as you kind of notice how much food your cat eats, how much litter they're going through, what kind of treats they like, just set up a monthly ordering, automatic ordering, and it just comes right to your door so you don't have to think about it. I hate lugging litter around, so it just comes right to my door. Just ship it. It's so much easier, and you get a lot of good deals too. So just a recommendation, automatic ordering. Danger. There is danger everywhere for kittens, and they love getting into it. Just some things that I've seen over the years where it's kind of gone bad. Washers and dryers. Kittens love getting in dryers because it's warm. Oh my gosh, please be careful. I've seen it go bad with this. Dishwashers, again, when I have litters of foster kittens, they love going in the dishwasher. I don't know why, but I always have to check my dishwasher before I put it on or close it because I've seen kittens try to climb in there. Recliners. If you do have a recliner, just make sure before you close that recliner that the kitten isn't in there. Again, I've seen a terrible accident with a recliner before, so just be careful. Leaving the toilet seat open isn't great. Furniture and TVs that aren't secured. They're going to try to jump up. They're going to try to knock things down. If something isn't secured that's really heavy, it could come on top of them, and it's not good. So just be careful when you kind of notice as they're starting to move around the house what they're getting into, but just make sure any heavy items are secured to the wall. Check that your houseplants aren't poisonous. There's some ones like lilies. A lot of the succulents are poisonous, so just make sure get those out of the way from your kitten. Look for anything that has string dangling that could be ingested. That's another big one. And monitor that your existing pets aren't getting annoyed with your kitten because they're going to get annoying. They're kittens. They're having fun. They're learning how to navigate the world. And your existing cat may not love a little kitten attacking its tail all day. And kittens can get hurt. Also monitor screens, and I mean window screens, door screens. Just kittens haven't been known to get out of the screen and fall, so just be careful. And then also door dashing. Kittens love to run outdoors and test their limits, so just be careful of that too, making sure a door doesn't close on them. I always say don't test the 9 lives theory, but kittens, they love getting in trouble, so just be careful. And adopting from eGapple. So please let us know if something isn't going right with your kitten. Please do not give your cat away or put them up on Craigslist. We want to hear about it. We want to help you. Spaying and neutering is likely going to be set up after adoption. It is paid. It is included in your adoption fee, but just stay tuned for information regarding the date if they haven't already been done yet. If they were just spayed or neutered, please do not bathe or let that incision get wet for at least 14 days, and just keep an eye out for redness or infection. You're going to be sent home with a little of what your kitten has been eating at the shelter. So you're going to mix that food in with what you choose to feed them so as not to upset their stomach. And you're going to do that over at least a week. Just kind of do the mixed food over a week just to make sure that they're doing okay on it. And vaccines and deworming are going to be up to date as old as your kitten, but it's really important to get an appointment for your veterinarian so that you can stay on schedule. And last but not least, a big thanks. Again, congratulations. Thank you for watching our entire adoption presentation, and we welcome you to the eGapple family. We can't wait to see pictures and updates on your new baby. The adoption fee is just a drop in the bucket of the cost it actually takes to get your kitten up to date and ready to go home with you. We always say free kittens aren't free. It takes at least an average of $500 to get a kitten to the adoption stage, and we rely on fundraising and donations to make each adoption possible. So please consider a donation or participating in future fundraisers that support our cause. We thank you and good luck with your new baby.